Okay guys, this is the second video for Section 3, Sumerian Achievements, and before we move on, let's look at what we've already got. We had our Power 1 title, Sumerian Achievements. That's what this section is all about. And then one of those achievements that we talked about was the invention of writing. Okay, and we had several points under there. If we move on in our book past the section we've already read, then we come to another subheading, and it's one of those big bold blue ones, and it says Advances and Inventions. So we are going to go ahead and, now this is the same outline, we're just starting, just doing another power here, and this is actually going to be another power 2. Advances and Inventions. It looks just like the one that we had put on there about writing. Okay, so this section is going to talk about different inventions that the Sumerians had. I'm going to fix this real quick, and we're ready to add some points about advances and inventions. So let's go back and read. It says, writing was not the only great Sumerian invention. These early people made many other advances and discoveries. I think we're getting ready to read about those advances and discoveries, so we don't really have to put anything like a point under that power 2. We'll just go ahead and add our power 3 for this subheading right here, technical advances. Okay, so underneath our power 2, let's just skip adding a point there. And we will come over and we will do, what was that subheading? Technical advances. That's what we're going to add here. So this is going to talk about advances kind of in the technical field. So let's see what kind of technical advances they made. Going back to the book. It says, one of the Sumerians' most important developments was the wheel. They were the world's first people to build wheeled vehicles such as carts. Using the wheel, Sumerians invented a device that spins clay as a craft person shapes it into bowls. This device is called a potter's wheel. So that is interesting. We use wheels on all kinds of things. Cars, buses, wheelbarrows, four-wheelers, dirt bikes, bicycles, all kinds of stuff to use wheels. Even carts in our classrooms sometimes have wheels on them so we can move them easily. And so the wheel actually came from the Sumerians. So we can add that to our outline here. And we're going to say Sumerians invented the wheel. Okay? And the potter's wheel. Some of you may have seen a potter's wheel before, if not in real life, because I've never seen one in real life, but I have seen one on TV where you've seen that it spins around really fast with clay in it, and people just use their hands to mold that clay as it spins around. So that invention kind of stemmed from creating the wheel, so that's interesting. We're going to go back to the book and read the next paragraph here. The plow was another important Sumerian invention. Pulled by oxen, plows broke through the hard clay soil of Sumer to prepare it for planting. This technique greatly increased farm production. Again, that production just means how much they could produce. The Sumerians also invented a clock that used falling water to measure time. That is interesting too. So we're going to go back to our outline. And we're going to be sure that we add Sumerians invented a plow to increase food produced and a clock. Okay. And you don't have to know that it used water to tell time, but it is important to know that they wanted to tell time, and so they invented that clock. Let's go back and read our last paragraph in that section here. Sumerian advances improved daily life. Sumerians built sewers under city streets. They used bronze to make strong tools and weapons, and they even produced makeup and glass jewelry. So you can see how all of these things would improve daily life. Sewers under city streets is kind of something that we take for granted because we all have sewers or septic tanks to get rid of our waste, but to the Sumerians this was a big deal because before they had sewers, they had to find other ways to dispose of their bathroom waste and stuff like that. So you can see how underground sewers would have been a big deal to them. Also using bronze to make tools and weapons, that would have been a big improvement from using the wood and the bones that they had used in the past. And then makeup and glass jewelry. So let's go ahead and add those things under technical advances here. Invented underground sewers, bronze weapons, and makeup and jewelry. Okay. And these things are definitely not things that those hunter-gatherer people had that we talked about. These are definitely things that came about as a result of the Sumerians settling. Okay. If we move on in our video, or in our book, sorry, we come to another subheading that says Math and Science. And that's one of those small red subheadings. So going back to our outline, that's going to give us another Power 3 for our outline. And this section is probably going to talk about some advances made in the fields of math and science that the Sumerians did. So let's read. Excuse me. Another area in which Sumerians excelled was math. In fact, they developed a math system based on the number 60. Based on this system, they divided a circle into 360 degrees. Dividing a year into 12 months, a factor of 60, was another Sumerian idea. Sumerians also calculated the areas of rectangles and triangles, so that's neat. That's all things we do today, right? We also say that a circle has 360 degrees and that a year has 12 months. So those are some things that you can see that go all the way back to the Sumerian civilization. So let's add that here. Sumerians, and I don't want that underlined, so I'm going to fix that. Invented a number system. (360-degree circle) and 12-month year. And of course you understand that they did not invent the year necessarily. They just invented the idea, or came up with the idea that a year has 12 months in it. Okay. Sumerian scholars studied science too. They wrote long lists to record their study of the natural world. These tablets included the names of thousands of animals, plants, and minerals. So we want to go back here and we want to be sure we note that Sumerians studied science and nature and wrote their findings. And of course they would have written those findings on clay tablets because that's what they used to write with. Okay. Let's go back. We've got one more paragraph here. The Sumerians also made advances in medicine. Using ingredients from animals, plants, and minerals, they produced many healing drugs. Among the items used in these medicines were milk, turtle shells, figs, and salt. The Sumerians cataloged their medical knowledge, listing treatments according to symptoms and body parts. So that's interesting too. They probably definitely had to have some knowledge of the body and how it worked and symptoms and things like that. So I'm going to add something here that says Sumerians studied medicine. Let's go back and make sure. Produced drugs and kept medical records. Pretty much that's what they kept. Not necessarily on each person, but they had clay tablet records that said if you're having this symptom, then this is the medicine that you should make. And so that is interesting. Kind of handed down to what we do today. We definitely research medicine and drugs and keep records to say that when we have certain symptoms, we take certain prescriptions or things like that. So definitely a habit that you can see we have gained from all the way back to Sumerian life. Okay. Alright, that concludes this video. Please go ahead and watch the next video so that you can get the last part of your outline done.